Hello and welcome to lesson number 10 of Learn to Play the Violin with me. Make sure you're tuned, and I did look a little bit ahead, and we will need our bow for this lesson. We're not going to put it on the violin yet, but we're going to practice holding it, so make sure you have that too. I am going to start the 15-minute timer, and we will get right to work. When we last left off, we were on page number 11, and we had just finished number 30, right back up. Remember, we're using the Essential Elements Violin Book 1 for this series. So let's start with number 30, and we were working on the A string. So that's the third string going down. Make sure we're holding it in guitar position with the right angles and the scroll around shoulder level and the strings facing out. We're going to start with number 30, which begins with an open A string, then with B, so we're putting our first finger down for B, then C sharp, which is 2 fingers down, and then D, which is 3 fingers down. So let's review with number 30 called Right Back Up. 1, 2, ready, play. Let's try that one more time, starting with open A. Ready, play. Nope, let's try that again. I had the wrong A, B. Okay, sorry, I had the wrong position for my first finger. Let's start that over. 1, 2, ready, play. Let's back up now to number 29, and there's a reason that I had us starting on 30 and then going backwards to 29. So 29 has us on the D, which is where we just left off. 3 fingers, C sharp, then D, B, and then we end on open A. So let's start with all 3 fingers down for D. This is number 29. 1, 2, ready, play. Good, let's try that one more time. This is our first note. 1, 2, ready, play. All right, let's start with number 29, and then we're actually going to pretend that number 29 and number 30 are one piece of music. So we are going to ignore that double bar line at the end of 29, which tells us to stop. We're going to pretend it's a single bar line, which tells us to keep going. So we are starting at 29 and playing right into 30. So here we go. Okay, good. I'm still trying to figure out exactly where to put my fingers. It's getting easier, but sometimes it's a little off. I'm sure you might be having the same adjustments that need to be made from time to time, but all part of the learning process. Here we go, number 29, then we're going to go right into 30, starting with halfway down. 1, 2, ready, play. Keep going. Thank you for coming along with me on that journey. Now the next part, there is a yellow box that says scale. A scale is a sequence of notes in ascending or descending order. Like a musical ladder, each note is the next consecutive step of the scale. This is your D scale. The first and last notes are both D. We know 2 Ds now. We know the open D string, and we also know how to play D on the A string with 3 fingers. So we know low D and we know high D as well. There you go. Low D, high D. So a scale always begins and ends with the same note name. One's just lower, one's higher. And in the D major scale, there's an F sharp, which we know how to play, and a C sharp, which we know how to play. So that's why they're talking about a scale. So what we're playing is the D major scale. If you look at number 31, it's called down the D scale. So we are going to play every single note in the D major scale going down or descending. So we're starting with the high D, which if you look, it's on the 4th line going up. If you remember the saying, if you have a certain saying to remember the lines of the treble clef staff, it's E, G, B, D. So D, the high D lives on that 4th line. So continue to keep focusing on that if you don't know how to read music yet, because pretty soon I have a feeling that those letter names are going to start going away. So just make sure that you're paying attention to where those notes live. We're playing going by step, which means we're going down to the very next note in the scale, C sharp, then down to the very next one, B, then A. Before we play, let's actually just try putting our fingers down on the notes so that we can kind of get the mechanics of it, start to develop the muscle memory for this piece of music before we try it with plucking. So let's start with D, which is 3 fingers on the A string. Then C sharp is 2 fingers. B is 1. A is open. And now this might be a tough adjustment. You go to all 3, but this time on the D string to play G. And 2 for F sharp. 1 for E. And then open D. So the hardest transition we're going to have is going from open A to 3 fingers on the D string to play G. So that's going to take some practice. I'm sure we're going to review that. Let's actually review that now. Let's actually try that now before we add it to the piece of music. So we're going to play the last measure of line 1, so 3 open A's, A, then we're going to play the first measure of the second line, G, a G, okay? So we play A, rest, G, 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 rest. Let's try that. Here we go. Ready? Start with open A, and you can actually position your fingers on G, at least hover them above the G. If you're pressing down on the G to create the G on the D string, make sure that your fingers are not touching that A string, or else the A string will not vibrate and therefore not make a sound or make like a muffled sound. Let's try 3 A's followed by 3 G's really, really slowly, starting on open A. 1, 2, ready, and A, rest, G, G, G. Let's try that one more time. Ready, and A, rest. G, 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 rest. Let's now back it up. I know we're kind of practicing this in pieces, but if you can zero in on parts that might be tricky, it's not a bad idea to kind of chunk it up and practice, like isolate little parts of a piece of music before just kind of going from beginning to end. So you can kind of practice however you want before putting it all together. So right now we're going to start in measure number 3. That's B, which is D, C, B. 1 finger on the A string. I'm still learning. 1 finger on the A string. So we're starting on measure 3. We're going to play B, 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 rest, then open A, rest, and then 3 fingers, G, 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 rest. And the reason we're playing these 3 measures in particular are because you're pressing down on the A string to create B, right? So your fingers are in line with the A string, the third string going down. You need to rest. While you're playing the open A, your fingers have to be working ahead of, your left fingers have to be working ahead of your right thumb. While your right thumb is playing that open A, your fingers have to, on the left hand, have to be forming the G on the D string, because you only have one beat of rest where you're not doing anything to form the G, and then adjust going up with your right thumb, and make sure you're pressing down at the correct spot with your left finger to be able to play the G. So when you play music, your eyes, your brain, and your hands aren't doing things at the exact same time. They are kind of adjusting. Some are working ahead of others. So in order to make sure that they all have enough time to sync up, that's why playing at a slow tempo is so important, so that you are learning it correctly. Let's try B, which is one finger on the A string. So we're going to play that 3 times, starting in measure 3. Then we're going to play open A 3 times, and then we're going to play G 3 times. And we're going to try to do that without adding any extra beats when we move from the first line to the second line. Here we go. Starting with B, the one finger on the A string. B, 1, 2, ready, and B, 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 rest. Rest. G, 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 rest. The ultimate goal will be to be able to play that without looking, but for now, I'm going to look to make sure that my fingers are in the right spot. Here we go, let's try that again, starting on B. 1, 2, ready, play. B, 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 rest. A, rest. G, 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 rest. Let's try that one more time. If you need to pause it and practice it even slower, absolutely do that for sure, because you want to make sure that you are practicing it correctly and not adding extra beats or putting your fingers in the wrong position, having to adjust. So play as slow as you need to so you can do it smoothly. Let's try it one more time before we add in more. Starting on B. 1, 2, ready, play. B, 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 rest. A, rest. G, 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 rest. Okay, now let's start at the beginning. Starting with the high D, which is 3 fingers on the A string. D. That's what your first note should sound like. D, that's low D. This is high D. That's called an octave, when it's the same letter name, but they are in different spots, and they sound different. Here we go. Starting, we're going to try the whole thing, now that we've isolated the trickiest part of it. 1, 2, ready, play. D, 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 rest. C sharp, C sharp, C sharp, rest. B, 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 rest. Rest. G, 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 rest. F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, rest. E, 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 rest. D, 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 rest. That's a lot of notes that we've learned. That's great. Okay, let's try it one more time. Here we go, starting on D, high D. D. 1, 2, ready, play. D, 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 rest. C sharp, C sharp, C sharp, rest. B, 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 rest. A, rest. G, 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 rest. F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, rest. E, 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 rest. D, 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 rest. Awesome. Okay, let's try number 32, the quiz. We're going up the D scale. So this one doesn't have us putting more than one finger on any string at a time. So hopefully this will be a bit easier than the one that we just played. So let's start with open D string, second one going down. We play D, and then we play E, so put one finger down, F sharp, 2 fingers, G, 3 fingers. Then moving on to the second line, we move down a string to A, open A. Then we have one finger on the A string for B, one finger on, or 2 fingers for C sharp, and lastly 3 fingers for that high D. Let's try playing this one more time. That was our timer. Not one more time. Let's try playing it for the very first time. That was the timer, but we're going to finish this up. Number 32. Let's try it. Let's sight read it and see if we can get the whole way through. Starting with low D. 1, 2, ready, play. D, 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 rest. E, 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 rest. F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, rest. G, 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 rest. A, rest. B, 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 rest. C sharp, C sharp, C sharp. D, D, D. Great. Okay. Wow. Awesome. That's really fun to be able to play all the notes in the D scale because it just shows us how much we've learned so far. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me. Sorry we didn't get to the bow today. That happens. It's hard to predict how long things will take, but I thought this was a great lesson, and I had a lot of fun with this one, and I hope to see you the next lesson where we definitely will use the bow to practice holding it.